Hi, it's Ms. Moore from the Metuchen Public Library with this week's Take 5. This week we will be reading from the Polar Bear Explorers Club. The book is The Forbidden Expedition by Alex Bell. You can find the book in the card catalog by entering The Forbidden Expedition. You will see it's highlighted in green, which means Metuchen owns it. You can also scroll down to see if your library owns it. I'm going to click on it to give you more of the summary. And let's get started on Chapter 5. Enormous dark wings spread in the now open space where the window had once been. The bone-eating vulture was an appalling sight. It had cut itself when it smashed into the window, but it didn't seem bothered by the injuries. It opened its beak and gave another ear-splitting shriek before swooping into the room. Zachary, Vincent, Rook, and Ethan both began hurling magic spells at the vulture. Felix leapt to his feet. Buster charged down the length of the table, roaring his tiny head off. Stella lunged after Buster, and the president of the Polar Bear Explorers Club hid under the table. The vulture must have been anti-magic enchantment on it, just like the carnivorous cabbage plant Stella and her friends had faced in the last expedition, because the spells just bounced off of it, seeming to have no effect at all. The vulture headed straight for Stella, its tiny eyes fixed on her with a terrible focus. Buster now charged directly in front of her in an attempt to protect her from the huge monster. His roaring would, no doubt, have been extremely effective had he been a full-size T-Rex, but given that he was actually no larger than a kitten, it really wasn't achieving anything. And the fact that he had dark chocolate smeared all around his mouth ruined his attempts to be ferocious anyway. Stella snatched up the tiny dinosaur in her hands just seconds before the vulture lunged, snapping its beak where the T-Rex had been standing. She shielded Buster with her own body as she ran, but turned around in time to witness an astonishing sight. While Ethan and Zachary continued to mess about with spells that were clearly doing no good, Felix leapt onto the table and ran down the length of it, china plates smashing under his boots as he headed straight for the vulture. Stella watched in astonishment as he took off a flying leap and landed squarely on the giant bird's back. The vulture screamed in protest, but Felix ignored it as he reached into his waistcoat pocket and drew out a shiny silver cuff. In one quick moment, he reached down and fastened it firmly around the vulture's bony leg with a snap. Stella knew at once that this must be a magical cuff Ethan had mentioned earlier, the one that would allow you to control the vulture. She realized Zachary Vincent Rook must have brought it, and that the reason for his visit. Relief washed over Stella as she was sure that Felix was going to hop off the vulture's back at any moment and send the giant bird away. And here's one of the pictures that's inside. I hope you enjoyed that snippet from Chapter 5 of The Forbidden Expedition, and you place a hold to check out at your local library. See you soon. Bye-bye.